chance of rainfall yesterday, but boy, were we in the thick of the heat and humidity. Yeah, I'm sure you all know we made it past triple-digit temperatures yesterday. Made it over 100 degrees, and we're going to talk more about that in our full weather forecast. In the meantime, rain continues in the same places it did yesterday. South Dakota into Nebraska, heading into portions of Iowa. We've got our rain out to the Mountain West, rain across the Northeast and East Coast, and of course our tropical storm out over the Gulf. Thankfully, we get a little bit of a break from the heat and humidity today. It's a small break, but it is a break nonetheless. We're down right now around 69 in Veneta and Miami, 76 in Tulsa and Wagner, still at 80 in Poto and McAllister, just due to the fact that cold front reached our southern counties last. Now, for most of us, dew points in the mid-60s, so we're seeing a bright-legged forecast. We had Shauna sending in this photo of Reba, and Shauna said this is the cutest sheepy ever. And you know what? I have to agree. The sheep is so cute. Look at the white and black markings. I'd love to pet this sheep right now. Well, if we're going to be tending to our sheep this morning, thankfully it's a little bit on the cooler side. Upper 70s, even seeing some 60s in some spots this morning. We know we're going to catch a little bit of break in the heat this afternoon with highs returning to the low 90s. Shauna, thank you so much for sharing Reba with us this morning. If you want your four-legged friend to end up on this graphic right here, use our chime in feature. That's KTUL.com/chime in. All right, we have to talk about yesterday, because yesterday we finally hit our first 100-degree day for the year, and we topped out at 103 degrees at the Tulsa International Airport. Highest heat index in Tulsa, 117, and the highest heat index in Green Country came out of Okmulgee at 125 degrees. Yeah, it felt like all of that across the viewing area yesterday. Our last 100-degree day in Tulsa was last year on August 19th. Here's a look at our heat indices area-wide yesterday. We're well into the triple digits, feeling like 120 yesterday in Miami and 118 in Okemah. 118 in McAllister. We probably didn't want to be outside no matter where we were. Thankfully, we're officially behind the cold front now. This is a weak front, but still that light northeasterly wind funneling in some slightly cooler, slightly dry air, giving us a small break before the heat and humidity return in grand force. Today, thankfully, highs will be in the low 90s. I have a forecast high of 92. Heat index should be in the low to mid 90s. Tomorrow, pretty similar conditions, but watch what happens. By Saturday, we're near 100 with the heat index well into the low 100s. And then you can see we may make a run at several days of triple-digit high temperatures through next week. As we go about today, plenty of sunshine still in the forecast. Again, highs in the low 90s, heat index in the low to mid 90s, light northeasterly wind. It should feel slightly more comfortable than it did yesterday. Tomorrow morning, most of the rain chance should remain in Kansas, but there is a chance a few showers may move as far south as across state lines and could get our northern counties. Slim chance heat and humidity, at least a little bit. Temperatures today will have been the main themes for us this week, and finally we catch a little bit of a break from that today and tomorrow. We're still going to remain rain-free today, but we do have some lighter rain chances returning to the forecast closer to the end of the week. So far, when we look nationally, we've got Bertha down over the Gulf, few showers from South Dakota into Nebraska, rain over to the Mountain West, and rain continuing from the Northeast over to the East Coast. For us, though, we're at 76 in Tulsa. It's a little bit of a break. 69 in Veneta, 68 in Miami, 72 in Bristow, 75 in Okemah. Our dew points are down in the 60s for most, so we're going to see a little bit of less moisture in the atmosphere, all thanks to this light northeasterly wind. Should be at about 5 to 10 miles per hour today. So that's ushering in that slightly cooler, drier air behind this front. Enjoy the little bit of a break from the heat and lake levels forecast. On the western side of the state, we continue to see these numbers come down now to about a half of a foot above normal at Arcadia Lake, a foot below normal at Fort Cobb Lake, and still over 6.5 feet above normal at Kaw Lake. Last week, we were at 8 feet above normal at that same lake. Onto the eastern side, over a foot above normal in Eufaula Lake, right at normal here at Grand and over 8 feet above normal at Oologah Lake. We're going to take a trip down to the Gulf for just a second, give you an update on Tropical Storm Bertha, still remaining at tropical storm strength with winds at 50 miles per hour. We've seen gusts so far this morning at about 65 miles per hour, and it's moving to the west at 5 miles per hour. Yesterday morning, we had Bertha just off the west coast of Tampa. Now it's kind of in the central portion of the Gulf, still tracking to the west. We're expecting Bertha to maintain tropical storm strength as it tracks west over the next couple of days, eventually weakening to a tropical depression as it makes landfall near Houston, heading into Austin. So again, that's our second named Atlantic storm of the season. Locally, we're tracking the heat and humidity. Yesterday was our first 100-degree day, and not only did we hit 100, we topped out at 103 degrees at the Tulsa International Airport, now making 13 days above normal. So finally on our counter, our first 100-degree day of the year, but we know 90-degree days, we're still sitting at 39. We catch a little bit of a break from the heat and humidity today. Slightly below normal. I've got a forecast high of 92, normal is 94. But notice how this break is short-lived, because by the time we get into Saturday, we're near 100. Could have a chance of hitting 100 on Sunday. And as we get into next week, we've got multiple days of 100-degree high temperatures, so keep that in mind. Let's walk through the forecast heat index, as we know we're going to catch a little bit of break from the heat and humidity. Heat index today should be in the low to mid 90s. Yesterday it was 110 to over 125 in some spots. So it should be a noticeable or a feelable difference. Tomorrow afternoon, heat index in the mid 90s. But watch what happens when we get into Friday. We have a rain chance there, so our heat index really jumps up into the 100s. And then Saturday looking like a pretty similar scenario as there. Let's talk about the heat and humidity, at least a little bit. Temperatures today will be topping out in the